everybody, and welcome back to another episode here on Milwaukee Beer Review. As always, I'm Josh.
And I'm Ross.
And today we take a trip back in time to celebrate Milwaukee Brewing Company in probably the latter half of its heyday, probably the very end of its heyday, actually, if you really want to think about it. So what we're here to do today is actually compare the beer snacks pack. So y'all can see this wonderful little 12-pack of beer here. This is the beer snacks pack, Milwaukee Brewing Company, which went under late in 2022, was acquired by Eagle Park Brewing Company. We've done a few things comparing some stuff there, recombobulation. We've done some beers from both. But what we're doing today is actually comparing their three flagship beers. Outboard, which is a cream ale, Louis Demise, which is an amber ale, and their Milwaukee IPA. We're comparing the old breweries, one of their last distributed snack packs, to what Eagle Park is putting out under the same brand name and the same beer names in 2023.
So it's important that Josh mentioned that the Milwaukee Brewing Company snack pack that we got is from what?
This is from like August of 2022.
So right after the winter. So it's a little old. I mean, we expect to kind of hold up, but there might be some slight differences based on that. But we'll see. We'll see what they get on the palate, see what they get on the nose, and see if we notice any sort of difference between the two of them.
The beers from the old Milwaukee Brewing Company are in the back here. They've been aged are in the front, actually. Sorry, we were talking about the front, the back, where we wanted things earlier, and that's not how it is. But so the beers that are actually from the original Milwaukee Brewing Company are a little older at this point, so about less than a year old, about 8-9 months old at this point. And we're going to compare them to a recently released version of each of these beers from Eagle Park under the same brand name.
So you can see from the cans, though, so when we look at the cans, the can on your left is going to be the old Milwaukee Brewing Company, and then you see the new ones. So really, they kept the label so far, but you see the Louis Demise is different. You are going to start to see, from a Eagle Park standpoint, a big rebranding with all of their beers. So some of these labels look a little old, but as you start to look for Outboard, MKE IPA, their OG Louis Demise, you're going to see some rebranding from them. This is still kind of keeping the classic MKE style, though.
Yeah, so let's kick this thing off.
Going.
Let's dive into Outboard, which is Milwaukee Brewing Company's cream ale. Now, if we pull these out here, the one on your left is Milwaukee Brewing Company's, right? The one in the front?
Yes. Yep.
The one in the back is Eagle Park's. So the one on your right is actually Eagle Park's, which looks a lot cleaner.
It does.
And in comparison to what Milwaukee Brewing Company was putting out. So which one do we want to try first?
I think we just stick with the old, go to the new.
Go with the old, then switch to the new. All right.
So Milwaukee Brewing Company cream ale.
Original.
Outboard. Yep. Yes. I mean,
it smells fine.
A little bit of a cream ale doesn't. I don't think cream ale has that much of a distinct palate or nose.
Doesn't smell bad.
No.
There's some hop character on the nose I'm getting.
I'm getting. Yeah.
All right. Let's give it a shot.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I mean, I'm gonna be blunt. Cream ale is not a style I really like, but I mean, it's fluffy, it's pleasant, it's easy on the palate. A little bit of freshness, a little bit of not really hoppy bitterness, but hoppiness to it. A little bit of sweetness. Kind of offers a little bit of everything.
There's character. There's malt character to it. To your point, there's a bit of a creaminess to it, which comes from, I think, that style. This still held up pretty darn well for being 9 months in my fridge. This held up pretty well. I think this tastes like I remember the Outboard cream ale from the original Milwaukee Brewing Company tasting. So, not bad. Let's flip over to Eagle Park's version. See what we think. Ooh. That's got a fresher nose.
Yeah. It's hard, and again, like we say fresh nose, it is hard because we are comparing a slightly older beer versus a newer beer, but these are beers that should hold up relatively well. I mean, in a fridge, it should be fine.
I think the MKE IPA is the one I'm most concerned about, actually, but it smells similar, but I think it's got a little bit more richness on the nose compared to the original brewing companies. So, let's try it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh, there is a difference.
It's more crisp.
Yes, it's not.
It's crisp. It's cleaner. It's even a little bit maltier.
Yeah, it's more full bodied. That's for damn sure. That's the one big thing off of it. The cream ale, the old MKE cream ale is, it feels like they were very comfortable with it. This, they took a little more challenge. They took a little more risk with this one. They add some extra flavor notes. You're saying malty. I'll go with that because I guess I'm not really picking up exactly what that is. But it's definitely got more full body, more full flavor, heavier beer, for sure.
I think it's coming from additional malt. I think Eagle Park put a little bit more time, effort, energy, funding maybe into the ingredients that went into this.
And I'll say this from some conversations I've been able to have with individuals who used to be at MKE. I will say it does sound like one of the things they kind of started lacking on towards the end was the funding into the beer and funding in some of the ingredients.
Yep.
And you can tell with the Eagle Park beer that they actually put some really good ingredients into this one to make it a little more full flavored.
Yeah. What I will say about the old cream ale, I think the old cream ale, the old outboard, has got a little bit more of the creaminess to it. This is a little harsher. It's a little bit. It's got a little bit more of a bite to it. It's more crisp.
That's fair.
And to be fair, I kind of like some of the creaminess from the old Milwaukee Brewing Company beer. I do think this is more full flavored though.
Yes.
This is popping more than the original outboard was.
So you're absolutely right. I think the outboard from the old one tastes more like a traditional cream ale. However, I like this one more because I don't like cream ales.
Fair
I like
enough.
the fact that this went away from it. But I still think if you like the old cream ale, you're gonna like the new cream ale.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like that.
They're
much.
not that far apart.
Yeah.
They're not that far apart. They're very close. I think I would actually pick the old one.
Okay.
So
All right.
in opposition to you, and it's only because I like that creaminess in a cream ale a little bit more. I think they're both really good.
Yeah,
though,
they're
actually.
good. They're tasty.
So, all right.
All right, moving on. So we're moving on to what really is their staple beer. It's Louis Demise. It's an amber ale. It's a German-style beer. No fluffs here. It's just an amber ale with some malt characteristics, and that's it. That's
amber.
Yeah. So, again, Josh, you're already going there?
Yep. The Milwaukee Brewing Company one is significantly more pale. The Eagle Park version is a little bit more clear. There's more clarity to it. It looks a little more filtered, cleaner, and it's darker, a darker amber color than what Milwaukee Brewing Company's looks like.
This almost, and honestly, this almost has like a ghost, just a ghost sour ale.
It does.
Just like look to it than anything else,
It
more
does,
than
actually.
amber. So,
All right.
all right,
Well, let's try Milwaukee Brewing Company's, the original, first.
we're not smelling it.
Oh, sorry. We'll smell it. We'll smell it first.
Hey, smells like an amber ale. Look at that.
It does, but it does feel a little faded on the nose, though.
A little bit. I mean, we'll see how the other one comes off. It's got that malt characteristics. Kind of got like an amber red ale, traditional characteristics coming out. Where you're not going to get a lot of hoppiness. It's going to be malt forward. Kind of slight sweetness, but a little faded. So,
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Cheers.
now,
It's okay.
fine. You can say it's okay. I love this beer. And we were talking about this right before we started doing the show. Like when I talk about like those classic flagship beers in the Milwaukee area that I would love to drink all day, Louis Demise is always just one of my absolute favorites. I love what this beer is. I love what this beer does. And we were kind of joking around because we love what this beer becomes with Resurrection and Cherry Bounce and everything. And you get the very like faded notes from those beers into this because this is what starts.
Yeah.
This is the base.
It's the base. It does.
And
Yes.
I love this beer. Now, I'm curious what Eagle Park does with it, but this is a beer I will always love. I love the way they do this beer.
It's good. I just feel like 9 months in my fridge may have faded this a little bit.
That's fine.
I feel
Still
like
good.
it is so good. It is so good, and that's why it's
So-
just kind of was like, yeah, okay, it's
Okay.
good. It's fine.
I can't say anything bad about this beer. I just
Yeah,
can't.
you're still loving it.
I
All
love
right,
it.
all
I
right,
love it.
that's good.
All right, now
On to Eagle Park's Louis Demise iteration. Okay, it smells very darn similar.
oh yeah,
In fact,
No, they almost smell identical.
yeah. I mean, pretty much dead on.
So I'll be honest, because you saw my reaction with, it was a bit of a trigger, the way you acted.
You were triggered.
So
You were clearly triggered.
I'm nervous about this because I want this to taste the same. I
Okay.
do. I want it to taste the same. I want this to be what I know Louis Demise is. I'm a bit nervous because I've never had the Eagle Park iteration of this year.
I have.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
let's see what you think.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
It's good. It tastes different. I think it's slightly sweeter.
I agree.
I think it's got a kick in the malts a bit more. It's still good. I still really enjoy it. I still like it. I don't know if I like it as much as I like the old MKE.
That's fair.
So
I'm actually kind of with you. I do think it's a different malt base that they
Yeah.
use for this than what Milwaukee Brewing Company probably used. I think they're very similar.
Yeah.
But I am edging closer to Milwaukee Brewing Company, the original recipe, Louis Demise, just a hair.
yeah.
Just a hair for me.
Look, if as a flagship beer, I'm gonna still look at Louis Demise as one of my top 2 or 3 favorite, just flagship, drinkable, everyday, like, tailgate beers that we kind of used the phrase before. That's what you get. It's still really good though. It's just got a slight kick in the sweetness level. I think it's for increased malts, or actually probably more fresh, better malts. They just kind of add some of that sweetness to it. So,
Probably. Yep.
all right.
All right. Well, last one. Now, there is a mystery beer in this 12-pack, which we're not going to reveal. But the last one we're going to do, as far as like base beers to compare and directly compare, is the MKE IPA. So this is kind of a standard IPA from Milwaukee Brewing Company, American-style IPA, I believe. They did have other IPAs they released, right? Like Hop Happy
Yeah.
was one.
This was actually a later release from them in the old MK. Like I think it was like the last couple of years that this one came out. Became basically their flagship IPA down the line.
It did.
And this is when you see at Brewers games. This is when you see all the time. This is one of the IPAs I love. So I'm excited to see how this one turns out.
Yeah. Comparing the two,
Yep, there we
again, on your left, again, significantly hazier, less clean. Eagle Park seems to be doing these beers a little cleaner than what Milwaukee Brewing Company was. They don't look the same.
Yeah.
They just don't.
Yeah.
So let's give the Milwaukee Brewing Company original OG version a shot. Still very hoppy.
Very hoppy, and that's the thing with this. This is a hop forward beer that also comes off as slightly refreshing as well, is what I remember it being. So
Yep. Yeah, it smells like a pretty standard
Yeah,
American
yeah,
IPA.
yeah.
So check it out.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, it's everything I remember.
good.
It's a hop forward beer with a good bitterness to it, but not overpowering where you can't do anything else for the rest of the day with it. It's for as hoppy as it is also slightly refreshing. Which is weird because you normally get more of that refreshing with like your hazies and your West Coast IPAs. This being a very traditional IPA, it still offers some refreshingness where you can drink on a very hot day and feel okay with it.
It's bitter, but in a very tolerable manner. Like, it's not like blow your socks off
Yeah,
bitter, but
yep.
there's definitely some strong, high-quality hop character
Yep,
happening in
100%.
this. And even 9 months later, it's held up very, very well.
absolutely.
So,
Oh, really good.
okay. Now, to compare that to Eagle Park's iteration of MKE IPA. Well, Eagle Park is known for their IPAs. I think that's kind of how they got started.
Milkshake IPAs.
Milkshake IPAs.
Milkshake IPAs.
But their IPAs have always been really solid. This has a different smell.
It's more citra forward. It's a little more more that citrus, more of that kind of refreshing as opposed to the bitter hop.
And it's more malty. There's more of a malt character on the nose than there is hops, whereas the original MKE IPA was more hop forward. This is more malt forward.
And to be honest, the MKE IPA is probably one of my top 2-3 favorite just IPAs because it's very standard, very basic, but it's exactly what I want in IPA. So I'm very curious how this one holds up. All right,
let's check it out.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That's good. That's good.
It is good.
I love this one. It's not better. So to say.
This is less bitter.
It's less bitter. It's more citrusy.
It's more malt forward, just like the nose. This is a maltier IPA, for sure, than what the original was.
Which for me, I like that. I like that malt forwardness. I like a bit of that citra kind of coming through, or that citrusy, because it offers a little more refreshness than maybe the bitterness. Which, as much as I like the bitterness in the OG, I like the refreshness that this one provides with some of that citra flavor coming out.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest, I like both of these, but for different reasons.
Okay.
Like, I really like the hop character coming off the original MKE IPA. I really like the malt character coming off of Eagle Park's version. If I'm going to drink an IPA, though, I'm looking for hops. This has it, but in comparison to the original, it is far more subdued and far more malt forward. For that reason, I actually give the leg up to Milwaukee Brewing Company again.
So you gave a leg up to all 3 Milwaukee Brewing Companies?
All 3.
Wow.
All 3.
Here's the deal. The great thing about this is there isn't a bad beer in the bunch. You know, even from a personal preference, I don't like cream ales. Even the Outboard, it's a well-made beer. It still held up pretty well. I like this over the Milwaukee IPA, the old school one. And it's not because one's bad. It's just this one offers something different that I enjoy more. That's
Which
really
is interesting because you actually really like the original.
I do. I love it. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like we're doing the same. We like one more than the other, but I don't think you can say or I can say that there's a bad beer here.
No,
they're all good beers.
There's not. And in fact, Eagle Park did a really good job of taking what components they wanted to of the original Milwaukee Brewing Company recipe and building out the new flagship beers in that brand. However, what I grew to love is in this box, and that is what's in front, and that is what I remember, and the nostalgia factor might be playing it up just a little bit, but I think they slightly, to me, edge Eagle Park's versions out, and maybe it's just my nostalgia kicking in. But
here's the thing, you and I talked about just the other day how the 2nd Street Milwaukee Brewing Company location was really the spot I think you and I kind of really grew to love craft beer.
It is.
As much as we've talked about other places and everything, that location when they used to do their open houses and just the fun tours you and the fact that they had so many variety of beer we were able to try and sample, that's really a staple for us when we were kind of growing into our craft beer whatever you want to call it.
It's dumb.
Well, yeah, fair. You know, so I think the nostalgia does hold strong, which is why I have a real hard time saying anything bad about the Louis Demange because I love that beer.
Yeah.
No, this is fine. I went into this thinking I didn't think I would taste any difference in the beer. I thought they'd taste the exact same, and I was very surprised by the unique differences while still holding true to what the base beer was.
I figured there'd be differences, but similar to what we saw, right? I mean, there were slight differentiations between the 2 beers. You can see it in coloration.
Yes.
You can see it just
That's the biggest difference is the colorations.
Yep. But I think overall, Eagle Park's doing a really good job of bringing these beers back and making sure they're available in the market. I'll cherish these ones for as long as they live. But, we were disappointed when Milwaukee Brewing Company shuttered their doors. And even though we were a little disappointed in them for the last few years, they were open because they weren't doing anything interesting.
Yeah.
I think that this is kind of fun, and I'm curious to see what Eagle Park continues to do with them.
100%. I can't wait. And again, it's good to see some of these originals coming back and hit the market again and seeing them on the shelves. So
it's cool. All right.
All right.
Well, good stuff. Milwaukee Brewing Company here on Milwaukee Beer Review. Check us out on the rest of our social media channels. We are on Untappd, we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, we are on Instagram, we are also here on YouTube. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Have you tried any of the new releases of these beers? What do you think? Do you think Eagle Park is doing a great job of bringing these brands back? Do you think there's some work to be done? Let us know in the comments. Let them know in the comments. Outside of that, stay tuned. We've got a lot more content coming, and we'll see all of you in the very next episode.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.